Alrighty, and we are live. Just waiting on Kaizen to get here. But as always, welcome again. Thanks to everyone for joining us for another Scape Games Presents a 5th edition D&D homebrew based in the Forgotten Realms, specifically throughout the region of the Vast, with Ravens Bluff, the fabled city of adventurers, as our party's home base. The Arachnophobia crew invites you to join in on our live sessions most Wednesdays at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Come in, comment, heckle, and use channel points to affect the outcomes of the game. For those watching this after the fact, make sure to like, subscribe, rumble, whatever is appropriate for the medium in which you found us on, and of course for those subscribed here on Twitch, we very much do appreciate the support. Make sure to check out our link tree in the doobly-doo below to catch up on other fun things that we're doing. And with that said, what was your question, Draho?
I figured it out. I was having trouble with the character sheet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry.
Nope.
Story of my life.
We've got a little bit of time before Kai gets here. How's everybody doing with their character sheets? Anything else that we need to get adjusted?
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any feats, mainly this is directed at Steven, are there any feats that you would recommend for a wizard?
I mean, there's the standards, but you really got to decide what you want your character to do to choose feats, because I've played many wizards, and every single time it's a different feat I take depending on what I'm trying to do.
Sometimes a left, sometimes a right?
Yes.
Kaizen will be on tonight too, by the way.
Yep.
Let's not worry about that tonight.
Okay.
No, a good one is mobility at all times for a wizard, because you get 10-foot movement, and with the Blade Singer, I believe you get a movement increase during your Blade song. So,
and you get movement increased from the feet anyway, and the ability to, now I can walk away from you.
yeah. So mobility is good for the Blade Singer because it lets you have a 50 walking speed when you're singing.
I guess I will take mobility then. That sounds good.
It just seems like something that would go good for your character.
It does. I'll take that then.
Okay. Mobility.
Congratulations, you're just as fast as me now.
Not finding mobility, I'm finding mobile?
Mobile, sorry.
Okay.
In previous editions, it was called mobility.
Yeah. Let's see, that goes under abilities.
Also,
Mobile. There we
previous editions, 2-weapon fighting had a whole tech tree to get through.
go. All right, that has been added to your character sheet.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yep. Is that any other items that we need to adjust before we're kind of moving into things?
I'm just wondering, aside from where we are now, that's all I need to know.
We are still in the hedge maze.
Yep.
Oh, we are. Okay.
But we're about to finish up the hedge maze, which I will cover in my recap.
And go for
I
it.
was going to say I need a recap because I missed last time.
Okay, so last time on Arachnophobia.
Still can't believe we stick with that, man.
Nobody else had a better idea yet.
Have you come up with one, Draho?
No, at this point, it's too iconic to change.
I mean, keep in mind too, Critical Role's second campaign's party was named after the fact that they kept rolling 9s, and one of them has a German accent. So last time we interrupted someone's dinner quite brutally, and we dealt with the cleric first because we learned. Then we very politely had a tea party, although we did ruin one room's day quite a lot. We got 4 necklaces, and we heard this. And we keep hearing the screaming coming from the center, but we decided to not figure what that is out. So then, anyway, I started looking around and encountered 2 pit fiends, and then got just paralyzed. But they kept damaging me, so my rage stayed up. So jokes on them. And then when finally people came to help, Kaisen's like, "Oh, hey, I know these people. I'm going to kill them now so they can go back and maybe figure out what's happening with their cart because they're merchants. Meanwhile, I'm just.
Okay,
Then I think we rested and are at the center of the maze now.
That is accurate.
I have to ask for comedic effect. Were we late to the tea party, and was there white hair?
There was definitely white hair on many of those gnomes.
That's not the type of hair I'm talking about.
He knows. He just doesn't care.
To be fair, it was a white rabbit and a March hare. They are not the same thing.
Wow, nerd.
Yes, indeed.
We're playing D&D. We're all
I was going to say, you really want to throw that insult here, bud?
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. So that said, you guys are currently at the center of the hedge maze.
Isn't this where all the screaming was coming from?
Correct. And it is
still is coming from.
It is, and it is exceptionally loud there.
Okay. Do we see an opening?
Go ahead and give me investigation checks.
Ooh.
Okay. Yes, while we're doing that, is there a map?
There is. It is 39-outdoor garden maze.
So, I rolled.
Kadra, am I there yet, or do I just not roll?
Yep, you popped back in from the ether. Let's make sure that we've got you on the...
And Navara.
What's my investigation score?
Hold on. I thought I opened the map, but I don't see anything.
Oh, because you...
It's rather...
Yeah, we had this problem last time.
Well, his token's probably not in the map either.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. I rolled a 13, by the way. And what'd you roll on the die?
17.
17. So... Fenrir got an 18.
Okay. I see another one. And a 23. All right. You guys are all able to kind of find that tucked behind the thorny brush of this middle section here are a variety of just kind of stone faces. Singular eyes set in the forehead, no eyes in the normal eye socket space, glowing red. And they seem to track and follow you as you move back and forth.
How many of them are there?
It covers the entirety of the, what is this, roughly 20-foot wall around this.
And how many, is that like, how many faces in total?
Oh, it goes top to bottom and squished in. Think very Dark Souls-esque in style.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I gotcha.
So
I'm
feasibly, it's covering all of this space.
I'm assuming that goes all the way around, too.
Yep.
Okay. Well, do these eyes look like these pendants would fit in them?
No, not specifically.
Okay.
Doesn't look like there's any space for it, but they do seem to mimic the color that is the pendant.
I'm gonna try holding up my pendant to one of the eyes.
Okay. It stares, and the eye on your pendant stares back at it, both unblinkingly.
Have we walked the perimeter of this wall for the center?
You have.
Yeah.
And there has been no obvious way into the middle?
No, there is not.
Apparently, we haven't checked that lower eastern corner. Or did we?
Wait,
Yes, you
so
guys
is this
did.
just a big square
Correct.
with no doors going into it?
Seems to be.
But there's a sound emanating from
Within.
past the walls?
Mhm.
Okay.
How high up is the wall?
About 15 feet.
And that's where we determine the invisible edge is.
Correct.
Okay.
So we can't climb over?
Correct.
And there's obviously no secret or hidden doors.
Not that you found, no.
Stop saying vague things.
Well, if I walked all the way around it, I would have found one.
Exactly.
Well, we have a solution for that too. I pull out my hammer.
Yeah, we can. That's what I was about to say. We can bust through.
Just waiting for the go ahead. Are any of these faces like distinctly different than any of the others?
So all of them look like different people, taken from different areas, different planes. You see humans, tieflings, elves, a variety of planar races that you're less familiar with.
Well, some of us are less familiar with.
Yep.
So, but nothing that stands out.
Correct.
Okay.
And we haven't found another entrance/exit to the maze.
Also correct.
Fenrir, what's the Elvish word for friend?
There's no.
Really, no one? No.
Sorry, I missed the question.
I said, what's the Elvish word for friend?
Milan or something?
Yeah.
Does anything happen?
Nope.
Okay.
What you did? Wait, you were asking for an Elvish word and you asked not me?
What's going on with my camera today?
Language is
Said-
all I do
I
well.
asked who I asked.
English is all I do well.
Do you do that well, though?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So you be honest with yourself, Steven.
There we go.
I think that dementia from your character is going into you a little bit.
He's really into character.
So
He's a method role player.
what did our investigation get us, Ketty?
The fact that there were faces behind the brush.
Okay.
Does anyone want to cast a spell into it?
I mean, I can cast like detect magic or something, or identify onto it.
Well, Fenrir seems eager to try his new powers, so probably gonna. I expect you start like doing the 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do a 10-minute ritual to do like identify and detect magic on that.
Which one are you doing first?
You can identify, I'll detect magic.
Yeah,
Identify wouldn't do anything here.
then detect magic.
Okay. Similar to when you guys first came in, this entire space glows magically. All the floors, all the thorny brush, and especially the wall of eyes and faces.
What schools is all of that?
Very hard to determine. It seems to be intermingled between transmutation, abjuration. There's a bit of negative energy thrown in there as well.
So potentially like necromancy or something.
Correct.
Well, that's good to know.
And we were told we needed these necklaces to proceed on, correct?
That's correct.
Standing in front of all of the various statues.
I'm imagining it's just a solid
Hey,
wall.
who was to let
and
me try something stupid?
Yes,
faces
but
are all
the statue.
basically
There were
leaves.
other statues in the maze, right?
Yeah.
There were not, aside from the little gnomes.
Who's willing to let me try something really
Okay, that I'm misremembering the divination.
Oh, within the divination? Yes, there were those.
Can I try something?
Okay, but we haven't seen the actual statues that I saw in the divination.
Correct.
Got it. I thought we had.
Alright. Can we let
Can I try something stupid?
go ahead?
I am never
What-
against trying stupid stuff, but the rest of the time.
Yes, but when you try stupid stuff, it's actually stupid.
And that divination is not in the divination chat.
Oh, not that.
Nope, I was just going back to read the divination, and
Gotcha.
it's
Oh yeah, I don't even remember what episode it was in, so we'd
Yeah,
have to go
the-
back and.
Mhm.
well, the GM didn't put into the divination chat where he's supposed to put all those.
So, do we all have a necklace on?
As he goes,
think-
oops.
I think we all do have.
Yeah.
And we have 2 extras, right?
Yeah, we got extras because for some reason they didn't plan for exactly this number of people.
Hey, put this other one on your dragon.
Oh yeah, I'll put that on Rokan.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to take my hand. I'm going to try to touch the wall.
It doesn't feel there to you.
Doesn't feel there?
Correct.
So does my hand go into the wall?
It does.
Like it's an illusionary effect?
No, it feels like there should be substantially something there. Like, think of it more like if you were pushing your way through, say, whipped cream.
Through what?
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream?
Mhm.
I pull my hand back. Is it covered in anything?
It's not.
Okay, is everyone all health up?
I mean, yeah.
But as we can be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm comfortable at 72. We can always heal me later.
Or I can.
All right, everyone. Everyone, assume whatever position you want to be in, and I'm gonna wait until then, and then I'm just gonna go all the way through.
Okay.
Is he pushing through the gray pancake wall?
Yep.
I mean, you saw my hand go in. You saw my hand come back out.
Keddy, I love that you chuckle when I say that. That means you know where that's from.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'd like to get more of it. Anyway, so we watch Art push his way through the wall.
Well, I'm waiting for you to all get in formation.
I'm gonna be behind Mark.
All right.
And
I am assuming that
Just to make it easy, formation isn't going to matter here.
Okay.
Sweet.
we just go in.
I'm gonna go in.
Okay.
I will follow suit.
Pushing your way through that face of walls, you enter into a small room. Its floor is a velvety red carpeting, and the walls are a light-colored pine. A sculpture of screaming faces takes up the corner of one room. Another is occupied by the large trunk of a tree. And a man, perhaps a woman, with sharp angular features sits lithely behind a wooden desk across from you. The person smiles, and with that smile, the screaming that you've heard up until this point fades, only to be replaced with a more lascivious kind of cackling.
I don't like this.
You don't like this. I'm the person who went in the room.
Please, you may all come in. You must be the ones here to stop that troublesome dark elf. The figure giggles. Perhaps I can help. Perhaps I'll hinder. If you're willing to play a few games with me, the results of which will determine the direction of my effort.
Out of context, we're literally playing a game.
Seeing the somewhat quizzical looks on your faces, it pouts. Please, alleviate my boredom. Win a prize.
I'm not sure. I want
One insight check.
I think there's going to be a few insight checks getting thrown.
Yeah.
I think she's very trustworthy, and I believe her.
I thought we said it was a he.
It could be a she, he said.
Ah.
So,
Non-determinate.
So think Tilda
progress.
Swinton in Constantine.
Yep.
so I actually got an 8.
Okay.
Good. 19.
You all feel that he or she does not seem
It.
very trustworthy, but it doesn't seem to be lying.
Okay.
So it's not lying, but we shouldn't exactly
Certainly holding
take it at face
something
value.
back.
Okay.
I asked to hear the terms of said game.
That one.
Actually, Navarre should be doing most of the talking, as Navarre is skilled. Well, maybe not skilled. How many do you have?
Only 3, and one of them's not my fault.
Oh, the rules. The rules, of course. Well, each game is a little different, and each one will have its own rules, but something must be wagered for something to be gained. What would you wager, and what would you gain?
I point over to Drow and I say, his life.
Let's not make any.
Accepted. What would you gain?
Too late.
Ah, dang it. Oh well, nothing of value will be lost.
Drow put his life on the line.
You're not supposed to make me want to fail this.
We're not.
But if that's the case, Drawho gets a say in what we're doing.
We're not doing this for you, Drawho. We just need. We have a designated touch the thing to see if it's cursed person, not you. Oh no, Drawho's gone into infantile babble.
So we've. Did Drogo's life just get put up
It did.
on the chopping block before we heard all of the rules and terms?
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Is that what just happened?
that is what happened because Fenrir opened his mouth.
You no longer get to negotiate.
I shake my head and I just sit here and actually I just shake my head and stay quiet.
All right, so it seems our wolf man has surrendered the wizard's life. What are the terms of your game?
He's only partially a wizard.
Well, the first one will be an interesting thought of concept. And let me grab the right
Welcome
image
to
for
the 756th Squid Game. No.
that. Not quite that bad. Image.
I mean, I do want to interrupt. If my life is on the line, I get to determine what our reward is if we win.
That's fair.
Yes, which you need to pick before we begin playing.
I was gonna say we don't even know what the choices are or if it's just something that we can name willy-nilly.
Oh my! What
It
is-
sounds
what-
like things we can name willy-nilly.
If, in fact, my next character, if this one dies, is going to be named Willy Nilly.
Is that a room we're in or is that like a board in front of us?
It's a board in front of you.
Okay.
So, the fey creature taps on the desk before itself, and a small board game materializes into being. Pieces already in place. And it says, skipping 3s and skipping 5s. Perhaps that is how one derives the answer to this wordy tale. But you won't win. You're bound to fail.
You said skipping 3s and skipping 5s.
Yep.
Oh boy, this is.
You need a pencil?
Yes, I do.
Where are you going? Gotta stay here until mommy comes back.
You can't contain him. He's a force of nature.
That is accurate.
That's very little instruction for me.
Well, I'm
know
looking
it.
at I'm looking at pieces on the outside, on the outside of the board, in that border on the outside too.
Not bad. Thank you. Careful. So, who would like to make the first move?
I don't even know what you're supposed to do on this.
3s and 5s, right?
Correct.
Skip them anyway.
Well, I'm assuming those are your movement lengths.
Know where to start.
Well, it's obvious there is a start on the outer ring,
Yeah.
and it spirals towards the center.
A bright one, this one is.
As I'm lazing on
Thank
the
you.
broom, I point. Well, there's a start on the outer ring. And
Yeah,
you said,
but do you consider that tile at the beginning number 1 or number 0?
Somehow I don't think the fairy is 0 indexed.
Just because they're a primitive fey creature don't mean they don't understand mathematics.
and you said
It's
movements
likely
of
over
3
the-
or 5.
Correct.
So the ones that do not depict a letter, but depict an image. Can you explain those?
The bird-looking items are spaces that you cannot land on. If you land there, you have failed, and you will have to start over. Others will have more particular consequences, as punctuation.
And you said skipping 3s and 5s, so
Hang on.
your moves are in 3s and 5s?
Correct.
Wait, hang on a sec, you guys.
Say skipping 3s and 5s. You skip the 3rd and the 5th space,
Oh my god.
or you only skip by 3s and 5s.
Those are some of the words that are on there.
And still, no one has answered me where number 1 is.
We've answered both.
Well, it's a good thing only my life's on the line.
I believe that the starting dot is dot 1.
The library looking thing.
The bookshelf.
Yeah. And that skipping by 3s and 5s means you're skipping, you're moving in 3s and 5s.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted to make sure I
And that,
understood that.
right, and that's what we just talked about. Landing on
Yeah,
anything
but I
that's
wasn't
probably,
really following correctly because I'm
Yeah.
not that good at puzzles.
and it sounded like if you do not want to land on a non-lettered tile. What are the tiles out on the outer border that was in character?
Sentence endings.
Probably tiles like what exactly the trap is if you land on a space that's trapped.
So those are probably the T's.
Except there's only one T on the table.
There's-
No, there's 2. Excuse me.
So,
Yep. Sorry.
There's also 2 skeletal dragons. They look to be blue dragons.
Has Kaizen joined us yet? I see. Is he in the room?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Gonna go out on a limb, but the ones where it looks like there's a person and there's something being drawn from them, I think that's. Is that a dunce cap or is that like
I don't know. It almost looks like
looks like maybe
light
possibly
or essence being pulled. Yeah. I was zoomed down. It almost looked like somebody on fire. So
I think I got this first try. We want to end on that little what looks like a blue dragon, right?
blue skeletal dragon.
In the middle, yes.
I think I just did this on my first run.
hey guys,
Let me double check my math.
here are some of the words that those letters spell out, as many as I could figure out.
well, but I'm assuming you're spelling out a word when you land on the letters.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Here's what I got. Key,
Doing an anagram with these, and I don't think I can make any words.
key, shy, bake, for, take, basil, your life, dead, there's shit, druids, tied, out. I'm just saying, there's fake, our death, and out, ride, tear, and read.
But I'm assuming, though, that the tiles on the board are in a spiral pattern.
They are.
Okay. Which means you have to follow the spiral pattern as you're making your moves.
For ease of starting, the only two that you can start with are T or E.
Okay, so then I have to redo this whole thing because I was going on the assumption
that you count that first space, because that's not taking the first space into as one.
Yeah, which should mean they're using a zero system.
Or they just have it labeled as start.
Well, you know what sucks? I made it the whole way safely, and now I got to redo it.
Yeah, well, hey.
Do share.
Well, I'm not saying because it's wrong since I counted the starting space as one. It's now wrong, but I did it on the first try, so take that for what it's worth. Start a new column.
So we want to start at T or E, right?
T or E.
Now, there's 2 T's and 2 E's.
2 E's. And it was what? Skip 5 or 3?
Oh, I was. It's just you can see it up there. I didn't fully decipher what I was going to do.
T 5 over. 3 over. What's that? Crow? Right?
No, it's. Hang on a second.
I think I did it again.
I think I might have figured it out too.
Do all the letters that you've landed on make a sensible word?
I'm about to do that right now. Fortunately, anagrams I'm actually decent with. What am I doing? I've got access to the internet. I'm a cheat.
This is the worst game of Scrabble ever.
I don't know why I'm sitting here trying to do anagrams by my dumb brain.
Well, at least you admitted it.
Now, if you find where this puzzle's from, that I'll be surprised about.
Well,
It reminds me of this game I played in Washington, but it was a children's game. And it's frustrating me that that's a possibility.
I really hate you right now, Kedro.
No, you don't.
Uh,
Yeah, that's debatable.
you haven't seen the DM memes where the players are like, "Your puzzles are too easy," and then they pull out a puzzles
Yes,
for
I
sixth
have.
graders.
I mean, I did once accidentally guess the solution to the puzzle as a joke. So,
So, show me where you started.
we skipped 3s and 5s, right?
Yeah.
there's a lot of words you can make out of these, but none that are full.
And 5.
So we started T.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because I got 10 letters that I landed. if you don't include the dragon token as
3.
a letter.
U
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. R.
R
1, 2, 3. 2, 3.
U
1, 2, 3.
O
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 5.
T
2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's yeah.
DM
I should go back to
chat.
1, 2, 3. See?
yeah.
1, 2, 3. Nope. Looks like you might have to.
Start with
See, the thing is you either want to end up here, so that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. That's the middle.
I'm thinking we need to end up on the Y just because I'm so sure.
Well, like I said, I know I made it there, but I don't know what word I could have spelled. But I did successfully make it to the center.
Is there any way we can end up this Y with new blockers?
That one?
So wait, once again, could you post in the chat log over there what the actual instructions were when we got here, the 3s and 5s thing?
Yep. Specifically, skipping 3s and skipping 5s. Perhaps that is how one derives the answer to this wordy tale. But you won't win, you're bound to fail.
So it should
And this
be a
creature is
straightforward-
eyeing you, Draho, up rather lasciviously.
Can I ask her a question about the rules?
By all means.
Can we choose at any time whether we pick 3 or 5 to skip?
You can.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to stay. You can alternate back and forth if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just go 3, 3, 3, 5. Doesn't matter.
Correct.
Okay,
It is your choice of 3s or 5s.
as long as we move by those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You won't win your count.
Start at the T.
One of the words you can make out of the letters I got is Fuhrer.
He didn't say we had to start on a T. He said we could start on T or E. He didn't specify which one, so that's 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I have one. I want to ask her. Are we spelling a single word or multiple words? Is it a phrase or a single word?
Oh, it is a phrase.
Okay.
All of the letters on the board will fill the outer squares.
Oh. I see. Okay, so we're going to... Oh, that changes things quite a bit.
Oh.
So what it is as we land on them, they're moved over here.
The move to the outside.
So this is going to get more complicated as we go. Ooh, boy.
Wait, so when you say it's moved to the outside, are you talking about the outside red border or the green border?
The red border. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
I think the green border is like the floor underneath the table or the carpet or something.
Yep.
So what do you mean they go to the outside edge? Starting where?
Starting right here.
So I think we need to spell this out before we get to the traps.
Well, that's the thing. It is. Well, then that's my next question. Do we spell them in the order we land on them? Does that make the word, or do we have to anagram it?
I suppose we'll find out, won't we?
Well, I can make it to the center, but that is not a word or phrase.
Hey, Navarra.
Yeah.
A word with you.
Okay.
And I walk over to the corner of the room.
Okay.
I will
You-
go over there with him.
And I go to stand over next to the tree stump.
Okay.
You feel that?
The tree emanates power.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
I don't know. I guess while they're doing that, can I take the time to detect magic?
Certainly. And given how long you guys have been in here anyway, the entire room is magical. That is blindingly magical, like so much so that you can't even see the veins of the types of magic coming from it.
Okay, so it's just
it
like
hurts
all
to look
magic.
at.
Okay. Can I Arcana to see if I know anything that might match that description?
Give me a try. With a 24, you feel that you're probably in some sort of pocket realm, and that this is the either core or power source thereof.
Got it. Okay, I will relay that information back to Kaizen.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
That's a crummy commercial.
Ooh, wow.
That sock on the floor, is that dirty?
Can we move backwards?
I didn't say you couldn't.
Game changer?
Oh.
Join us next time when we maybe finish the solving of this puzzle.
Oh, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing now.
Detroit Rock City. Is this a phrase we may have heard before? Somewhere.
Who knows what you might have come across?
Well, that's even more than less than unhelpful.
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy.
Are there any hints you can give us?
Oh, I already have. I
Yeah.
mean, there are 6 of you, so we can try this 6 times.
Rojo's the only one left.
I'm doing one more pass to get different letters and see if that helps me.
And remember,
Well,
this is the first game.
You get to go back and forth. That changes things now.
Yeah, you don't have to go.
How would one denote a space between the words?
Oh, by adding a appropriate point.
Didn't you say those are on the outside already?
No,
Oh. Those are what the other things get to be.
Yes.
Sigh.
Just a point of clarification. Once we make a move, are we then going to have to start at E again?
Oh,
No,
crap.
you start from where you're at.
Okay.
Okay. So an E or a T is the last letter.
It's not going to the center of the spiral.
It's making sure there's enough spaces to get to the center of the spiral.
No, we're not even trying to get to the center. We're trying to make a sentence, a key phrase.
Yeah.
Which means this is a riddle more than it's a math puzzle. Right. Because that's a pretty vague freaking riddle there.
It really is.
Well, I think I know what the first two words are. I'm just trying to map it out. Because I assume we have to map space out the spaces between the words, don't we?
That is correct. Quite to the point.
He emphasized point.
He did.
Do we have to use all of the letters?
You do.
Do we have to use all of the potential points? The potential sentence. Do we have to use all the tiles?
Not all of them.
Okay, so just all the letters. Well, my first thought is maybe the owls. What are those?
Those are decoration. That, however, is the last clue I'll give.
How?
This is what I get for asking, for thinking out loud.
And it kind of leans over to Drougothoth. So, what don't you like? You. What don't you like? I need to know what kind of things we should be playing with.
Well, I'll tell you what I definitely do like. So that might help. I do like more than anything not knowing the answer to this riddle. And if I knew it, it would definitely annoy me to the point that I would probably try and kill myself.
Oh, you're adorable. We're going to have so much fun.
I cover Fenrir's mouth immediately, like he's doing a thing.
I mean, honestly, the only thing I can think is, yeah, I dislike you.
We're going to have so many riddles together.
This is just the first one.
He has a thing for dark elves.
He really does.
It's a little too soon. His wife just died.
Did not. My arch nemesis.
Mortal frenemies.
Okay, let me see here.
I just have all the letters.
I apologize, but did you say the tiles landed on moved to the outside edge?
Correct.
So then it becomes, does it get replaced, or does that tile stay there to be able to land on again?
That is replaced. Or not replaced. The tile becomes no more.
So it no longer becomes a movable space, which means you go to the tile on either side of pre-existing.
Correct.
Which would mean, theoretically, if you landed on the E starting, you would only actually be able to start from the K next because the bird is trapped.
Well, not only that, what it means is if you're going back and forth along out of character. If you're going back and forth along the line, you got to remember if you've hit one of the letters, you can't count it as a space when you're factoring out your moves.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has stepped into the realm of beyond my ability to figure, so I'm just going to work on puzzling out this riddle.
Okay, so that works. So it's level 1.
What are the clues for the riddle again?
Draho, she leans into you. Did you hear about the casino that's catering to warlocks?
No,
They're adding more spell slots.
I do not understand this joke.
I do.
That's bad.
Well, I mean, are spell slots actually known in the world, or is that out-of-world mechanics knowledge? Because if that's something that if Draho in his arcane training wouldn't have learned what a spell slot was, then we definitely are not going to understand that joke.
Draho, you understand the joke. You just won't. You refuse to dignify the response as identifying it as a pun.
Oh, perhaps a better one. Why do clerics have proficiency with cobbler's tools?
Why?
Because they're always saving souls.
Oh my god.
Is this our punishment? Is it just gonna keep
Torture
making
us
puns?
with puns?
Because I can do this all day.
This is a fistum cups. Fistum
No, this is supposed to be punishment for Draho.
Okay, so can you give us the clues for this riddle again, please?
Oh, we got it right here in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hang on. Did you share with the rest of the class? Were you putting it in the chat?
in the
No,
game
on the
chat?
game board.
Mhm.
Game chat.
So many chats.
Too many chats.
Yeah, in game on the left, it should be right above Navarra's last roll.
Got it. Sorry, I sort of expanded that image to be huge
Ah,
so we can review. So skipping 3s and 5s, so we've established how that roll works.
Yeah.
Perhaps that is how one derives the answer to this worldly tale, but you won't win, you're bound to fail. So, we understand our move sets. We just have
There
to...
being 3s and 5s, perhaps that's what.
So you may obviously start on T or E. What is your first move?
I feel there's like a hidden double meaning to everything that you're saying, and none of it makes sense.
Yeah, that's like Keijo, you could not have made this any more vague.
Yeah, you can. I don't want him to.
Please don't challenge him with that.
That's what I said. I don't want him to.
So is this just going to be the theme of the session with Fenrir shooting his mouth off and getting us in trouble?
Well, he got Draho in trouble.
I was gonna say it's not Draho this time, but
That's what I mean. I expect this kind of behavior out of Draho.
Maybe it's just archers.
I expect this
No,
kind of
it's
behavior out of
blade
Draho too.
I'm going to start breaking bows if y'all keep this up.
I'll help.
Yeah. Does anyone have the list of letters they've put together?
I'm still working on mine because I'm back and forthing and trying to use all the letters as I move around.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. I didn't know we were going to be doing a puzzle today, and I got a little bit stoned.
Oh.
That should help, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And the third eye.
if you've seen those statue faces on the outside, we might all be stoned.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't really do riddles and
I do
math
have
puzzles
one
today.
more
So that
thing I'm
gives
curious
us-
about. How many overall letters are in the solution?
All of them.
Ooh,
Oh, this.
damn it!
Yeah, we already finished that.
No.
All of the letters here are in the solution.
They are. You can give up at any time.
Talking numerically, how many?
All of these. 1 per square.
Per square. So there's no spaces involved, which would mean it's one word.
Well, no, the tiles that don't have a letter get used as your space tiles as you're playing.
Ah. Well, that just took this to a whole new level of not interested. Leave this up to the other people. Drow's just going to spend this time to figure out what he's going to get as a reward when everyone inevitably wins for him. As any true noble would.
Do we have any thoughts? Are we stumped?
I mean, I am, but I'm not the one that's got to make the final move, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Out of character to the group. I'm thinking we want to start with the T because it gives us the or they off the bat. It's moving forward from there. And that's where I'm at in the mapping of the game board.
Gotcha.
Including a space. If we go with they, then I've got a space and I'm getting ready to continue forward. It's just, I don't know how well everyone else is.
All right, so I think it has to be they, because you can't start a space off of the, because there's not enough spaces.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. It's if you go with the.
There isn't one that's 3 or 5 away to make a space.
Well, there is. You go back to the start 3, and it puts you on the bird space. But then going forward from that, you can't get on the K.
So let's go ahead and start with that supposition. So you guys start with T.
Right.
You go with H, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
You come back to E, 1, 2, 3. From there, you can either go 3 to here, 5 to all the way over here. 3 is going to take you back here, which you can't land on.
Or whatever you're doing is not showing up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It might be visible in
on the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. Okay, so because from the E, 1, 2, 3, or 1. From the E, we can go to the Y. That's a 3 count. All right. 5 counts the U. Going backwards from the E, 1, 2, 3, you end up on the bird thing.
So those are hard points, which will not allow you to land on them.
You do not get to land on the birds.
Not on the birds.
No, the birds were dangerous. They didn't say anything about the other guys. I think the ghost things are supposed to.
Okay, so we cannot use the hard points.
Well, did we discuss whether the ghost was safe to land on?
I
She
expect
did
it's
give a hint
not.
on that.
Yeah, what was that hint again?
It has consequences.
Well, but if we have to account for spaces in the board to make the words, because why?
There are 7 of those, by the way.
Okay, so it has to be they then, because we can't go
Yeah.
back to the bird.
Yeah, it has to be they.
Well, you wouldn't go back to the bird.
But that's what I'm saying. We can't
Well,
go
But
back
you,
3
you
or 5.
would go back to here. Because 1, 2, 3rd.
Oh, okay.
So I think we only get so many chances.
Do that count for me again from the E?
Where was the E? Right there? Yep.
Okay, so K.
1, 2, 3.
But I thought once the space was used, it no longer counted for the purposes of
Correct.
the numbering.
No, it still is a spot,
Oh,
but it's not a spot you can land on.
Okay, because the
Okay,
hint
that
made it
changes
sound like
things.
it like disappeared.
yeah, like it no longer was a.
Right. The letter is no longer there, but it's still technically a jumps point.
So you have to count it when you're calculating.
So it counts as like the bird space. You can't land on it.
Yes. Because the bird
Okay.
space is not either a letter or something that acts as an
so-
intermediary.
So once we get a letter, that letter then turns into a hard point, is what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, that changes how I was figuring things out then.
Okay, yeah, because that's definitely not what I understood.
Okay, I took it as the spot's gone, so you don't count it in your measuring anymore.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
also
what I
understood
that's
it
where I
as.
was as well.
Boy, it's a good thing we figured that out.
Becomes much easier when you're actually placing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm high enough that I would need to like actually like
Have a
see
KDD.
what comes up.
But you can smell colors.
I'm not that high. I'm just high enough that I can't do logic problems in my head right now.
So you're not understanding the mysteries of the universe high.
No.
You're just.
Can you get there though?
I mean, I did spend like $150 at the dispensary this weekend.
Oh, yes, you could.
For medical purposes.
Sure.
For legal reasons, medical purposes.
Well, the state I
Okay.
bought it in, it was recreational.
So it cannot be they
Has to be I'm thinking.
because the Y isn't a valid landing spot.
Going in 3s and 5s. Yeah, I've got but
Yeah,
Well,
so my they supposition was based on the fact that the thing would disappear and you could no longer use that
Right,
space at
and
all.
that's how I got to they also. So
So it does have to be the.
yeah,
Okay. Going with that?
I think THE needs to be on the board. I think that's where we
yep,
start.
that's a safe bet.
Come on, you laggy thing.
It knows you want to do something.
It does. What the hell?
This also alters how we have to progress because we can't leave any tiles like undone.
Mhm.
Right, and if we can't get too far ahead because then going backwards, we're going to end up using tiles, I assume,
Well,
and we
that
have to
doesn't
be able
work.
to travel along the spiral.
What was the name of the Lord again that we're here to fort?
Idriz Yllica.
Can you spell that?
IDRIZ YLLICA.
Nope, we committed to this now.
I think he did that to make it easier on himself than writing.
Yep.
The-
Unfortunately, I don't remember what the pointed head widget things are going to be, so we're just going to pick a gelatinous cube for the middle one. Kind of thing.
Excellent.
Okay, but
That tile
To-
suspiciously
to get that space,
hmm
we have to land on something.
Yep.
Okay.
So I get the feeling that, like, the ghost, as we've called it, means that one of us is taking ourselves off the board.
Hang on. So if we count and we end up hitting a hard point, we slide off the hard point to either side of it?
Nope, you would, so like from
Or do you have
the
to
E,
stop before?
If you started on an E, you would either go 1, 2, 3. You can't see it, can you?
I'm looking at the Twitch now.
Okay. So you would stop on the point head guy for 3, the library for 5 going left,
Right.
or 1, 2, 3. You can't stop on the H because it's gone,
Right.
which would mean you would try to stop on this, but you can't because it's a specified hard point.
Right. What I'm getting at is, if I wanted to go 3, not 5, would I be forced to go to 5, and then it would push me to the Y?
From the E,
Yes.
so you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can't pick that, so there's no option to go that direction.
You just can't move in that direction, period.
Correct.
Okay.
I will point out that if we start on E, we can get the word hurry.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything. That might actually cut off our routes coming back, but
I'm fairly confident in the, only because it seems like this is going to be a response.
I don't think this is an anagram thing. I think this is more like some kind of weird version of Wheel of Fortune.
Well, the reason I'm saying this, kid, was because if we go to the library, 3 would put us on the T that's no longer usable.
Yep.
And 5 would put us on E that's no longer usable.
Correct.
So if we landed on the E that's no longer usable, it would shift us to the K?
Nope. There is no shift.
There's no shift. There's no legal move.
Oh, then I misunderstood that part of it. Great.
That is what I just went through with him. So if we go to the portrait, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means our next word will start with the S. Am I reading that correctly, Kedra?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what word can we get with?
he's doing a thing.
Yeah, he's cleaning the board up to make it a little bit easier to see.
So those are what you've used so far. And you're currently on the E here.
Right. Well, we have to go to the portrait so we can get to the S to start another word.
Okay.
Because that's the only out of the move options. We can't move forward. And if we go to the very first token, we don't have an option of something to land on.
Okay, so we're currently between the Y and U then?
You're where the green spot is at.
We don't see a green spot.
At the top, underneath, between the H and the E and the outside border.
Yep.
The space with the gelatinous cube on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
The far
The
left.
first one.
Can you see the word "the" on the outside border that we just added?
So we're on the far left then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I see it. Okay, so we're right here.
So
one,
the next
two,
one's
three.
going to be the S. I mean, in progression,
Yeah.
S has got to be next.
Yeah, then you'd have to go back to K, then to Y.
The sky.
Okay.
That would work perfectly.
Yeah.
That leaves us on Y with all those letters used. Okay, this has gotten much easier now that I understand it.
And then we're going to probably have to go back to the other...
No, from the Y, we can go down to the first 1, 2, 3 to the first soul, the first
Yeah,
portrait,
put another space.
because I'm pretty sure.
This is, of course, us speaking academically and not making actual moves.
That would
So
put the
going with this
end
one
it
here?
with the sky.
We'd have to
Yes.
because the next a 5 from there would be the deed, which doesn't make sense.
But she wants it.
All right, so then we've got a choice between I or D, if I'm counting correctly.
Right, but then we got to figure out.
I think that gives
Well,
it,
if we go D, then back up to U, then down to R, that would use everything in sequence without landing anywhere else.
Well, it would be if we went with the I, we could go 3 from the I, and it
No, because we can't go to the U from the D.
1, 2, 3.
It's 6.
No, we're from our current position. We go down 3, and then we go down 3 again from the I to the S.
Okay.
With the object of spelling what word?
Is
Yep. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go back up 5 to the portrait.
Committing to that?
No, I'm not committing to that because I'm still walking through.
Yeah, we're working through this right now.
But we can't go up anymore. We have to come down again. Shoot.
do you want the R or do you want the D?
We've got to be able to use that U.
Yeah, we have to use every letter, so.
Wait, so we're on this first skeleton on the side here, right?
we're right here.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep, we got it.
Okay, I do think it is the word is.
I do believe is the next word. It's
Well, that
it's-
depends on what your definition of is.
All right, Mr. Clinton.
I mean, my first name is William, so.
Would we like to commit to that?
Oh no, it's pretty big.
You can then go back to that little. No, because then if we use that extra space after is, we can't get to that U.
I mean, if we went forward,
but you can go forward to the other portrait and then we can work back but that means that's a big word. That next word's going to be kind of big.
It is.
Yeah, it has to be bigger than is, obviously.
Well, no, we get one more space coming back up.
Yeah.
Well, so we know there's at least
We can
1,
get 2
2,
words after
3, 4,
is.
5.
Our last word would probably have to end with the Y.
Okay.
Because that would give us a three move to put the space in after that.
You're right.
Makes
We
sense
got-
to me,
But
but
we got to figure out the order of the other 2 words after that.
We also
I think we should lock in is because that's the only thing that makes sense.
that's what I was just about to say was is about the only thing that can follow the sky that makes sense.
Curse our limited vocabulary.
Well, because otherwise it's like D R U or something, and that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it could possibly be.
And that would mean we are now down on the bottom S, correct?
Guys, it could also be druids.
There's no I in that stretch.
No, the I that we use.
Oh no, the I that we're using. Yeah, you're right.
But we'd have to be able to put a D first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Check it.
The Sky Druids.
We can't get to an R to make druids work off the first D that we'd use.
Can't we? We just
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
down.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We wouldn't. Oh, well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 5. That's an I on the bottom, right?
Yeah, it is. Under that gelatinous cube right there. Yeah.
That's an S.
S.
No.
Yeah, we can't get to an R to spell druids.
And there wouldn't be a space after that that's accessible either, I don't think.
Well,
Looked like it.
no, the space accessible after would be the one that we're using for after is if we use it.
Yeah, okay. I was just
But
pointing
right.
out.
The letters are there to make druids, but
There's
the
also-
moves,
It would fit the sentence.
but
It
the
would.
but the moves do not allow that word structure.
It would
Okay,
also,
good. Then we'll skip that.
I would also say druid, just druid is there, but that's also probably not working.
Yeah, it's a problem with like the R and the U.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well, at least we ruled that out because I would have been dumb to miss something like that.
Yeah, I just noticed it and I thought I should point it out.
So now we're on the S.
Yeah.
To get back to the space.
From the S.
we'd have to go to the first portrait, continuing in the spiral.
But then once we get there,
Then we have to work words the other direction, which would mean the Y would be the next letter.
Okay. But
Wow, this is rough, 'cause
How would the
one, two-
Y be the next letter? Could you walk me through that?
Because we do 3 spaces backwards from the portrait. Because 5 spaces puts us back on the S that we just used.
okay.
But we've only
Okay,
got,
so we come.
but only vowels we use.
Well, okay, so I'm not following what you're saying. So we're on that bottom S.
Yes.
If we go back 5, that puts us on the ghost, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you go backwards 5, puts us in the ghost, but then
Oh, there's a ghost going the other way. Okay, I didn't
that's the one.
realize that.
Yep, that's the one I was talking.
That's why I was confused by what you were saying because I was like,
Right, because I'm trying to figure out how we can get that other U that's above the one that you thought I was talking about.
gotcha. That makes sense.
I think we might have to go further forward.
You could be right, because I'm looking at options off of Y, and it's either, well, off of the Y, the only option is the D, which doesn't make sense.
YD, that's what I was thinking.
Or perhaps did we stop too short with Sky?
What else could it have been?
Good question. Okay, guys, we've only been doing this for an hour.
Oh, where was the Y at the top, Kedro?
So right next
Thank
to
you.
the third
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, give us the ability to understand what we're doing.
Well, if we didn't put the space in, the next letter we could have chosen in Sky would have been a D.
Yeah,
We could,
and I
Put it-
don't see anything off of that. So
and I don't think anything would have come off shy.
Well,
here.
you could go to the U or the other D or the other or a different R. But I can't. I'm. Kedra, I'm ignoring you.
It's
Well,
okay.
no,
I'm just
I've
chatting with
got
Stevie.
I understand that. I just saw the chat just start scrolling, and I looked over. I'm like, oh, I'm going to ignore that.
I'm going to ignore Hadro's petty attempts to distract me.
Well, no, it's not distract. I mean, it's just it takes away from playing the game.
I even tried to Google this stuff to no avail.
Part of it also comes down if you can figure out what the phrase is, you can figure out the correct order. I know, Stewie.
He in there. I'm not on the Twitch. Is he in there terrorizing people?
But I also know that you guys have been talking a lot, and I haven't caught too much of the chat. I just happened, my peripheral happened to catch it.
Sky.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. Kedro.
Yes, sir.
The first portrait to the left for the space.
After the U?
Yes.
You want to commit to that?
Well, if we go there, we can get your out of it.
Wrong one.
But then that leaves us all those letters behind us, though.
It does.
That's what I've been trying to do, is get back to those behind letters.
Yeah, it leaves us with UDR.
Right, so if we went with your, where would we end up?
On the R in the middle, but then we wouldn't have. Oh, let's see.
The R to the left of the S, right?
Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so then you'd have
And then
to go...
five would put us on the portrait above the one we just marked. Or
No, it would put us on the from that R. If we did your, it would put us on the D, going 5 to the right.
right, or if you went to the left, it'd put you on a portrait.
Oh, yep. Okay.
This was so much easier when we thought it would eliminate tiles.
Really was, wasn't it?
Let's see. 3 from the R would be the other R. Oh. Or we don't do the R. Is there punctuation? Do we have anything for punctuation?
She just smiles at you.
I look at Drow. We don't. It doesn't have to be your. You can, because your that R would be 3. You go 2 more and it'd be a D and it'd be. Well, that one doesn't make sense. Sky is you'd, as in you would or you should. No. Oh,
I
never
mean,
mind.
unless they're really bad with grammar, we don't know.
I mean,
It's a regional dialect.
we could go Sky is your, as in you are.
We don't have an E.
Yeah, we need to get it. Okay, so
Also, that is grammatically sketchy.
grammatically sketchy is the territory I live in.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, I just started writing again. That would be a good name for a book or something.
Grammatically sketchy.
Gotta write that down.
It's a picture book.
It's a picture. It would be really good for a picture, but
So currently, we went with the.
I mean, if we go one more, if we try and go one lower for that F, we could make 4, FOR, and use up that R to the left of the S.
Where would that go though? Because we still have to go all the way through this without. Yeah.
Wait, what was your suggestion again, Fenrir?
I said if we go up to the F.
But we can't.
I was gonna say I don't
That's
think
four-
we can make
that's
it
four
that way.
moves. That's 4 moves.
Okay. I don't know if we could get there. Because if we could, then.
But we can go up to that Y.
Oh, okay.
That's a thought.
That is a thought.
And then come back down and spell your from that Y.
Okay.
But hang on, what does that give us?
That gives us.
That still puts us at the R, but it gives us that Y to be able to use.
And it puts us in a position to go ahead and use the U again.
Mm-hmm. And it gives us Druid.
No, it's DU.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no,
I
yeah,
didn't see that the I was.
yeah, the I's covered.
Okay. Didn't see the cube under it. Sorry.
And let's see, from that U on the bottom left, we could get up to the F.
Yeah.
So
Well, we have to. Yeah,
we could be able to get out of that cluster from there, but we got to figure out what word we're getting out of that after that.
So we'd have to do your and then backtrack to get another
Letter.
another period.
Yeah.
Another
The
space.
ghost. Yeah.
Right.
So from there,
Well,
F or the Y. Oh, sorry, F or the. We'd have to go F because then we'd be forced to.
because where are we at right now? We're at the ghost in the very bottom left corner, right?
Yes.
Correct. Unless you pull that back.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because we could also just go with the ghost on the right that isn't covered yet.
Not from.
From the S, we're saying going from the S.
Oh, from
we
the
don't
S?
go to that one, yeah,
Yeah.
because that'd be 5 back.
Right.
Let's look at that for a minute. So that'd be 1, 2.
Well, I'll work on that.
So that'd be that'd be either R or that'd have to be R.
From over there, it would have to be the R. And then you'd probably have to go up to the U to grab it.
But if that makes it the R, then we'd actually
We wouldn't have.
to go back to the U. We'd be trapped.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because then we'd have the D. 3 down from the U.
Oh, that's true.
Mm.
So it'd be, if we went over there, you go down to the R, up to the U, down to the D, then 1, 2, down to the other D.
But what are we spelling?
That'd be Rudd.
RUDD.
Is Rud even a word?
Or
Well, we got
Ruddy.
a YR there, which is Ruddy.
Or the U. I don't know how that.
Sky is ruddy.
I mean,
I mean,
Word
I've
works.
heard it used as a descriptor, as
yeah, Ruddy is a descriptive word, so that does make sense.
So what is the board like if we do
Buddy, having a healthy red color.
Thank you, Google.
I'm a barbarian.
Yeah.
But someone would have that in their vocabulary.
I have no idea who.
Probably, honestly.
Okay, he's a little too smug with that response.
I think the only person that possibly could have it in their vocabulary is Masaki, Kaisen, or
Honestly, it'd be Draho. He's lived long
Draho.
enough.
Yeah.
and if we
And
so
he's
if
So let's just
so if
explore
we
that
hang
further.
on. So if we do that and go with ready, and then we do the your that I'm thinking of afterwards, it would have everything cleared out, and then we'd be on this very left curve.
And I mean, it's not like there's a red theme with his board or anything.
No.
Sky is ready. Your. I mean, if we're not
Sky is
using.
Oh, it's gonna
periods.
rhyme.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we went with that.
So we remove.
So Ruddy would put us back at the Y next to the R next to the S, right?
Right. So
Yes.
we would switch the gelatinous cube from the portrait on the left, yes, to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically.
And we would skip down to the R3, then back 5 to the U, then 3 to the D, then 3 to the D, then 3 to the Y.
What the fuck?
I was with Drogo on all of that.
I was lost.
I've been following you. I'm not very good at figuring it out, but I'm very good at tracing the lines.
Right. And so that leaves us.
Ark's hand goes to squeeze Drogo's wrist, but stops for a second and goes, huh.
And then
smart person.
we from that Y we can go to the portrait that we just had marked, and then we can do your, and then that will be able to put us on the portrait above that one.
Something bloody.
And then we can start with the F. Or
Wait, no, could we
Wait,
get
wait, wait,
your
We can
Your
get to the B.
fate is bloody. Your fate is bloody. That's what we have to spell out.
The guy is ruddy, your fate is bloody. That makes sense.
Okay, so we're on the Y, and then the one portrait, the 3 over, right?
You're currently on the
that's what we
right
said.
portrait.
What?
You're currently
Okay.
on the right portrait.
Okay.
This one here.
Well, we
But-
just
but-
told you what we were
Yeah.
doing. We're committing to Ruddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you understood that.
No, I heard not committing.
Okay.
We didn't technically
Happy
tell
with
you
the
we were
career
committed.
just a little.
So you're gonna end up there.
Right.
Yep.
We'll let you put the tiles on the border.
Okay. All you had to do was figure out half of it, and then I figured out the rest. Just how do we do it?
Yeah.
Well, now, if that's what we think the rest of the phrase is, then I can map out the moves.
It
Please tell me
becomes
it fits.
easier.
Please tell me it fits.
Yes.
Because then,
for the love of God.
from that Y, it's 3 over to the dragon.
But we have 4 spaces.
Well, we should be here.
Okay.
Okay, where are you going from that Y?
1, 2, 3.
3
This way?
towards the portrait,
Yep, 3 left.
and then from there, then we can spell your by going up 5, and then working down by 3s.
So moving up to the
The Y above it.
Okay,
Right.
that one there.
Yep. And then moving backwards by 3 to get the rest of your. And
That
then
would leave
forward-
us with the next space.
So then 5 back up to the ghost.
Right. And that would be a 5 to get to there.
Just a sec. One moment. Processing.
Uh-huh. The fact that he said that in character frightens me.
So as soon as it ended with a Y, I'm like, it rhymes.
Damn it.
I mean, I kind of had a feeling it did because it's a fey creature of some sort. So
And it only took us an hour to figure out.
Well, we had to make sure we understood the rules well.
So
Which we did not.
that one there.
Okay. Right.
I will definitely ask about potential puzzle solving before next time.
Then up 3.
Yeah, let's see what
Other
up
problem?
3.
I've already walked through it.
That should be there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, what about on the border? It shows trap the whole rest
I
of the
think
way.
he had those placed there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
I'm assuming he needs to move them.
So you're going with the F?
Yes.
No, it doesn't make sense now.
It really doesn't.
Unless that's the thing that gets us here.
Then we're going to move
3.
forward 3 more to the A.
Then 5 to the D.
Correct. And then 3 to the E after that.
Vetty? Yeah, that's the only E. T.
And then we'll move backwards 5 to the portrait.
The guy, yeah.
Yep.
Forward 3 to the I. Then backwards
5 to the
5
S.
to the S.
Then 5 back to the
And
portrait.
then 5 backwards to the last portrait again.
We did it! Unless we were supposed to do this in a particular order, that would make the DM a dick.
RDM, a dick.
And then forward 3 to the B.
Three to the L.
5 to the O.
5 to the O, 3 to the O. And then it's 5 to the Y and 3
Or
or
5
5
to
to the
the
D,
D.
and then 3 to the Y.
And then 3 to the dragon. Hey, it's a blue dragon. Maybe you get to finally use the arrow
Uh-huh.
and miss.
They never miss.
Not you.
Don't worry. When I shoot the blue dragon, it will not be with sharpshooter.
You'll still,
I don't need it. The arrow does the damage for me.
that's
But you'll
fair.
still miss.
I mean,
No.
losing 10 damage is less than it's going to be less damage than a bane arrow would do.
That's why we should give the arrow to me.
3
so we
to the
don't-
dragon.
All right. Is that your committed board?
Yeah, I'm happy with
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
I'm cool with it. I'm locking in that answer.
Yeah. That
We
is
used
our
all-
final,
we used-
final answer.
We used all the letters. The only thing that we did not cover up with the square was that
Birds.
very, very first one
And
that had the lib. That had the was it? Yeah,
Library.
which we
The
could.
start.
Right.
The Fae grimaces and then growls. Don't think you'll be so lucky in the next game.
Oh, don't worry. We don't
Waves
think
its
we're
hand
either.
and the board disappears.
I love how we struggle through the beginning and then the
Okay.
barbarian think, aha, I know. But
Okay.
to be fair, bloody. I mean, come on.
Kedra, I do have to ask, what was that from?
Not telling yet because there's a couple more.
Ah,
Ah,
Oh,
fair
so
enough.
so we might have to review the footage.
Indeed.
Theme. There's a theme going on.
The Fae points up to a what's it called? Stained glass mirror behind it that is kind of in the shape of a star. The star on my wall has lost its luster. Perhaps you can fill it with your bluster. It's easy to find a place to start. It's hard to find a place to finish.
well,
What?
if this has bluster in it, draw hose up to bat.
It's easy to find a place to start,
Mhm.
but not a place to finish.
Interesting.
Yeah, could you put that one in the chat over there too so I can reread it?
Yep.
Make
Yeah.
sure there's no hidden clues.
The star. Oh my balls.
Well, I mean, no matter how you start it, you can complete the whole thing, but you come back to the start to finish it. That's the point of a star.
Okay,
So-
but
But before we continue with this one, what is your prize for the prior?
Ooh.
I cover Fenrir's mouth and I hold it very tight.
What do you guys think we should ask for? This is
Can there be? There needs to be a
I
conference.
send my
One
claws.
moment, please.
A direct path to Idris.
that's too easy. This Fae isn't good enough for that.
Complete my next 2 puzzles, and I will give you that.
So, what, you're gonna make us complete all 3 to get 1 reward? That seems shady.
That particular reward is expensive.
I think that'd be a fair route. A direct route to Idris is all we get out of this.
So
Okay.
I will give you that one for the first one, as long as you continue to play my 2 puzzles and continue to wager.
I mean,
So we got to place a new wager on the next one. That means the old wager is done.
Correct.
Oh, good. Well, I'm happy.
I will.
no,
gladly-
you're still muffled.
No.
I mean, we could just keep rewagering Draho.
No, I
You
think
could, but I'm very
Hang on,
not happy about that decision.
Hang on. Because apparently we have kind of a beast bond. Fenrir is going, which
But we'll quit putting our lives on the line. Let's just offer them something we have in our inventory. I mean, they aren't specifically looking for anything big, and
Oh.
clearly the price
Don't go
doesn't
so
equal
cheap this time.
yeah, the
You've
price
already
doesn't
wagered
equal
life.
the
you had to set the bar high, didn't you?
That's why I said I'll put up my life this time.
No. See, it's clear that the prize isn't equal to what we put up. So, because I don't think I'm worth getting directly to Idris, as arrogant as I am.
No, 3 things together would be, because we have to solve 3 puzzles.
Yeah.
Well, didn't she just say she'd give us that for the first one if we agreed to play the next 2 and re-wager for
No,
each
we
one?
have to play all 3.
No,
Yeah,
I will give
continue
you
to
that
wager.
for the first, as long as you continue and wager for the next 2.
So yeah, we could get more stuff. Or we could keep my life on the line for 3 whole puzzles, which I'm not a fan of.
I say let it ride.
Not taking you to Vegas.
To be fair, if we fail this, we might not be taking you anywhere.
Exactly. So, shall I?
Because, I mean, we could get some other stuff. We could get some sort of token or something that'll help weaken him for one of these. Like, we can really maximize our efforts.
I mean, we can still do that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If we just play it 1 for 1 and just promise the next 2 games regardless.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, Stewie.
Oh man, I'm not in the Twitch. My internet's been or my Chrome is acting up for
He
some
says,
reason.
hashtag Dolo. Draho only lives once.
Nice. So okay, you guys want to work on
He's
that? I
already
think
had-
we should.
I was gonna say he's already had the drow that loves him.
Yeah.
Define had.
Yeah.
She's dead, isn't she?
So we don't know what they got up to while they were on that chase. Through the
We
Dwarven
got
City.
up to me getting
I mean,
exploded
we
repeatedly.
know.
Oh, that doesn't sound
We know.
better. That sounded much worse. Me exploding repeatedly.
But it's not an inaccurate description of events.
I was-
You did come back with your hair messed up.
Were you also smoking a cigarette?
No, he
was
had one of the
smoking.
cigars at that point in time.
He was
though.
definitely smoking. I don't think tobacco had anything to do with it.
Oh man, I walked right into that. As soon as I said it, I caught myself like, oh no.
To be fair, she caught you too.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
I mean, let's
are
start.
you letting
There's
it ride?
one.
I mean, I feel like if we can get that, we can put some other stuff up for bet on the next two.
Oh,
And
I'll
get
take
more
half
than
the
just-
bet. And she looks over at Kibble.
What, you
No.
want kibble for the next one? That ain't happening.
So while covering Fenrir's mouth, I also reach over with my other arm and pull Kibble behind me.
And you hear me muffly saying no, no, no.
I mean, if a soul is
You can't just
The-
up the,
the
ante
minimum.
that much.
Yeah.
Draho, and
We don't know the soul is the minimum. A soul is what we put up last time. I mean, there's no small blind from what I can tell.
I would
You've set
think
the starting wager.
Yeah, well,
Somebody
it
It's
went
said a lot
big.
of things.
It's not
Somebody
going to
went
let us
big
back
out of
down
the
now.
gate.
yeah.
Mm.
I feel like the person who made the initial offer should be the one to carry the burden of the next test.
That's what I said. Just let me do it. I already offered twice.
Agreed. Where would you like
Okay.
to start?
So now that we've got another person's soul out there on it,
Not another. We already won the first one.
yeah, but I mean we're putting another out there. But okay, let's
Wait,
see.
did you just acknowledge that Fenrir is a person?
Yeah, he
I
did.
said
No.
Get
Oh, I said
Get
I said
wrecked.
a soul. The undead have souls.
No, they don't.
Well, clearly you guys don't.
It's coming
Clearly
from a
you guys
cleric
have
and a
some-
paladin. No, they
He
don't.
acknowledged me that I have a soul.
Draho, who's in control of the body right now?
Look, Draho will argue with a cleric and a paladin all day about something that he thinks he's right on.
Which is
Game
everything.
Master, what are the rules of filling in the star?
Choose a starting point. Pick a direction. You can only touch spaces that are empty.
And
Define spaces.
yes.
A through H.
So if we strike through, so, theoretically, so I understand this. So if we go from A down to F, we would not be able to use G or H. Right? That's
you
what
would
you're saying?
you would not be able to use F.
Not be able to use.
Make an
I would
initial
not be able to
move.
use the
you'll,
points.
You'll understand.
I don't. Well, I mean, it really doesn't matter where we start because no matter where you start, it's the same pattern to make a star.
No. So what
But-
you're saying is that
That seems shady, though.
we have to choose a point to start, but we can't touch any other point more than once.
Is that correct?
Close to it, yes.
Well, close isn't enough when you've got this much writing on it.
Well, I gave
Which
you a
is-
great deal of assistance in the last one. I'll
Oh.
let you deal with the luster this time.
Okay.
Well, the fact it says it's easy to find a place to start means literally no matter where we start, it's going to be the right answer. It's just
Right.
where we go from there. So someone pick a starting place.
Hang on,
Kaiser.
hang on. The reason the riddle says it's hard to find a place to finish
Yeah.
is if you were to follow every point, every line, you can't come back to your starting point.
Okay.
So,
We can make the dog soul.
In fact,
So do we have to follow the full course of the line? We
yeah,
can't
but if you
break
follow
it.
the full course of the line, you can hit each point, but then you're stuck fulfilling the last segment.
That's what I'm saying. We
'Cause
don't
that
have
last
the option
segment-
to not.
That last segment would go to your starting point.
Yeah. Oh, I understand what you're saying. I was confused on the space phrase. You just mean once you touch a point, you can't touch that point again.
That's what I just heard.
That I wasn't understanding. I was hearing space. I was thinking the spaces that make up the triangles.
Well, and I was thinking the same thing until you ask, if you go from A to F, does that mean I can't touch? We can't go to H or G, and he says, no, you can't go to F.
Yeah. See, okay, that I didn't catch the you can't go to F part. That's why I was confused. So.
Which is why I'm trying to.
Yeah, then. Oof. Oh. Oh, okay. Do we have to make the line continuous?
No. But
No,
it must
then we can
always
just
be straight.
Then we can do the all the way up till the last point and then go back to our starting point and go the last strip. Right? Because we can't reuse it, but we can restart the line. So say we started at A and went to D, G, B, E, H, C, F. Now we restart at A and go down to F. We've completed it without touching anything twice from our start point. Right? No, wait, we'd have hit the F twice. Never mind. Man, that was a good thought, though. That was a good thought.
At that whole.
So basically, draw. You were talking about start a point, draw a line, but don't connect to the other point. Just drop it at an intersection.
No. I was thinking since we don't have to make the line continuous, like we don't have to go from A to D, then immediately from D to G.
Right.
I was thinking do the whole thing and then get to the last point we can actually move, then jump back to A and do a different line going the other way. But that would require using F twice, following my pattern. Because you'd go from H to C to F, then from A to F, but that wouldn't work.
But
so
he did just say that you don't have to draw the point continuously. We don't have to go from A to F. We can stop at anywhere on the line. Did I just hear that?
Yeah, we'll make sure we understand this. Yeah, do we have to go from one point to another directly in order to complete the line, or can we stop halfway?
All lines must be straight.
All lines must be straight. You can't go to the same point
just
twice. Can you cross over an existing line? Well, obviously you can, or you wouldn't be able to do it.
I would ask her, can you cross over an existing line?
There would be no existing lines. Only points.
Okay, so only the points matter. That's all I needed to know. So yeah, we can cross lines like the Ghostbusters and streams.
So what? Okay, Drow, what about this?
I think I'm in the zone on this puzzle. So yeah, walk me through this.
So we take a line from A, like we're going to go to F, but we drop it at that last intersection before hitting F.
So we go A to the intersection between H and A, right? That first point?
No, I was thinking the one between G and F.
Between G and F. So
That
all the way down
intersection.
to almost completing F. Okay.
But we don't.
Gotcha. So we go to there. What's your next thought?
Well, my question is if we start there, are we able to snap another line from A down to the D and do the same thing?
Should be able to, because theoretically they said it only needs to be a line. So we
And
can
then-
make the box in the middle first, right?
Well, no, and then we just work our way clockwise, we can work our way clockwise around the star, doing that. We're not going from A to F, and by that point we'd be overlapping the box in the middle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm following what you're saying. Yeah, we just got to figure out how to draw it proper that
But he said we can't touch points. We can only
more
use
than
points.
once.
Okay.
So whenever we get to whenever we do one of the points on the stars,
So
we have to commit to that.
do we have to start a line from the point?
Correct.
No, it just has to be
Oh no,
continuous.
he said correct. Our line has to start from a point, and we can only touch a point once. He didn't say anything on that.
Well, if we can only touch point once, and we got to start at a point. So
He didn't say yes or no on starting on a point one. I'm touching. Or he's already said he's not. I don't remember.
He did say we can't touch points more than once. So
Yeah.
if we can't start a line outside of a point, then we have to keep the line continuous from A down to the midsection to F that you talked about. We have to use that one line to accomplish most of that move. Does the line, once we make it, have to end on a point? Can we stop the line anywhere we want and start a new line on a new point?
I've already answered that.
Okay.
Didn't answer it well enough for me to follow.
I believe he said yes.
Hang on. We can stop a line anywhere on it. Right?
Is that the understanding we have, or?
He's literally not going to give us anything.
Drow, we've already confirmed that we can drop a line anywhere on it. We can terminate the line anywhere. As long as it's at a point, we can terminate the line anywhere, right? So if we pick a point and we do and we draw a line, but we terminate it before it gets to the next point. We then pick another point to start a continuous line that will cover.
I see exactly what you're
thinking, and then
So-
how would we do it though?
Because if we did just using basic, like I was saying earlier, if we started from A and did the full cycle, we'd end on F and be unable to go back to A. But if we go from A down to that point, and then we start on, let's say,
because it doesn't say the second line that we start has to end on a point. We can end it anywhere.
Yeah.
On
so
it.
let's see. If we went with that, and then we started on, let's say, D and go to G, that'd bring us back up. We'd miss that point on A, so that wouldn't work.
Now,
if I started on
I think now, are we establishing that we have to get all these lines, or that we have to just get the perimeter?
We have to get all the points hit, but we can't hit them twice. That's the main thing.
That's what
we have to color the spaces, and by doing that, we go from point to point, because that'll take care of all the spaces.
Okay. So can I get a marker of some? Oh no! Look, a drawing mode. So just theoretically, let's say we go from A to this point, right? And we end it. That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Okay, and then we start at another point. Say we start at D, and we went just the regular. Come on, give me the. Let me draw.
I'm watching you put multiple lines down. This is funny.
It's not showing me putting multiple lines down.
This is why I stopped drawing.
So anyways, yeah, let's go. I'm just going to assume it's working and hope for the best. Like this, and then stop here. That leaves everything except that A section right there.
I just got.
I'm just hoping it's working because I can't see what I'm drawing.
It all came out as a blob, but that would fail because we'd have no way of doing getting that line between.
Yeah, I noticed that after I was mapping it out in my head. So let's.
Do we actually have to start at a point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eraser mode. I don't even know how to erase.
He did say we had.
Okay, I'm just gonna reopen this thing. Delete all my notes. Note jockey.
I thought Kibble was your note jockey.
So, but you saw what I was trying. So if that doesn't work, then.
So we can't hit a. Well, I mean, do we have to start at one of the? So start at actually one of the lettered points.
Yeah, we have to start at a point.
And we can't hit the same point twice until we end it, or at all.
Yes, no hitting a point more than once.
But we have to get all of these lines.
Yeah.
Let's see.
From what I understand, we have to get all of the lines inside that star and outside it
I mean,
without touching a point more than once.
This would so help if I could just.
Which I do not see a way to do it.
there is a way. It's just like
It's very much a.
for one of them, you have to like go in the middle like that. It's weird.
If I could. There's a way to draw it without hurting the computer.
I know this is way too. I just haven't done this since like.
So, where would you like to start?
I mean, starting doesn't matter, so let's just start at A because I've been working on a northward point, but let's not make the line yet. So we'll say
Hang
we'll
on a
start at A.
Hang on.
What the what?
Well,
So-
it doesn't matter where we start. It even says in the riddle, finding a place to start is easy. Finding a place to finish is hard. So the start doesn't matter. It's a star. It's all going to circle around to the beginning if you do it proper.
So a large spider appears at A, and the lines between A and F and A and D glow a shimmery yellow color.
So it's saying we have to complete the line to A, E, F, or D.
I'm guessing those are the lines that are now filled because it's lost its luster. Perhaps you can fill it with your bluster.
That's just to be poetical and rhyme.
Yeah, that's just to be a dick.
That's the rhyming.
And it's got to be insulting. So now I'm going to ask, does this mean that the line has already been made to F and D, or that we have to move to
We have
F
to
or
choose
D?
one.
It's mapping out the lines that you can move.
That's what I wanted to make sure of, that it wasn't just shooting both of them down on us. Okay.
No, I think it's mapping out which direction you can go.
Okay, that makes sense. Wanted to make sure of that so we're not.
I think this first move is kind of arbitrary.
It really is, because no matter where we start, it's going to be the same next move. Like, that's the whole point of a star. They're
I don't know. We'll go.
very linear. That's why this puzzle's annoying.
Hey.
Because there's a very linear way to make a star.
Well, if the choices don't matter, then pick one, Draho.
Are you able to stop it before you get to the point?
The thing is, it's like if you look at it objectively, if we just let them run around, it will get to all the points.
But it will always end at the point it started.
Well, hold up. This. What if, and I'm going to have to draw this out to get it in my mind, so prepare for some scribbles.
Or you could just have a piece of paper and a pen.
Yeah.
I've tried that. It's not working because I've got horrible handwriting. We go
So-
2 there, then you continue from F and D, crossing each other from D to G, F to C, and complete the whole line, going the rest of the way.
Well,
Wouldn't
that
that end?
depends on whether or not you can start 2 lines from A.
Right.
Because if
you're
it
hit-
moves you to F and you can no longer start from A.
That's...
So I don't know if that's a
If
thing.
you do that, it blocks off being able to touch F
Thank you.
and B again.
So if we pick one, does it actually move the spider to that location?
Don't know
Pick
yet.
one, find out.
I mean, we really don't have any choice but to pick a
I
direction
have
to
another
go.
question, Pedro. Can we touch a point again if it's the point we're ending on?
Once a point is finished, it is finished.
He's purposely going to be vague.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I get that. I mean, I think we should just pick a direction and
All right.
because what option do we really have? We have two options: go one or the other. But
So we've established that we can't just like stop at where two lines meet and just go a different direction.
Actually, we can't. The only rule is that they have to be straight lines made, and you can't touch a point again.
Straight lines, and you have to start on a point.
And you
yeah,
have
they didn't
to
say
stop-
end on a point. That's what we were working with before, and I've sort of been trying to work off that thought process.
And did we establish too that we have to cover all the lines?
Yeah.
We have to. We
Yeah,
have to fill
that
in all.
section.
We have to fill in all the spaces.
So that means all the lines, which would
I'm-
essentially bring us to every point eventually.
Well,
Spaces could mean the.
you could
inside-
terminate a line before you get to a point, and it's touching the space.
I don't understand. I don't think we've actually proven that because
I was going to say, let's
saying
try.
that it-
We
saying
only
that
have
it
two
must
options.
be a straight line, like so. If you just stop at a vertex and make a 90-degree angle, it's no longer technically straight.
But lines inherently are straight. That's just the actual line.
It
Is
can't
just,
be broken, I
between two
think,
points.
is the.
It's just this point. This
Right?
Point, that's a
Is
line.
it a case where we can take the spider somewhere, stop it, and then we pick a random different point that's not connected, or does it have to be connected to the spider?
I mean,
Wherever
that
it's
depends on
sitting?
whether or not the entire move is a line, or if we're talking like two lines added together.
See, that's the thing. We don't have enough detail. If we stop a line before reaching a point, can we continue the line? Or is that it? Do we have to make it one full move? Can you continue a line? Or let me rephrase that. If I went from where the giant spider is straight down to just that little section between the A and B, that first cross section, if I moved there theoretically, would I then be able to stop that line, go over to H and make a move, then come back later and complete that A line in another direction? Or
So
no?
you're seeing the entirety of the line from A and F and A and D as glowing choices.
So it has to go
So
straight to the point.
It has to go
Okay.
to the end. You can't stop in the middle.
Okay. That's what that changes our thought process. We misunderstood that then. So I guess at the beginning it really doesn't matter which way we go. But
Go
I
to
mean,
F.
Go to F, yeah. Let's give it a try. What do we got to
Alright.
lose? Well, that we got stuff to lose, but we got no real way to go from here.
Fenrir's soul to lose.
The
Yeah, we got it- well, we
spider
got
slowly
nowhere else.
crawls its way across the painting.
Oh,
That line becomes golden etched.
Ooh.
So now we have what? A single line going to C?
No, we have from A to
Not quite. So at this point, each of the non-spider spaces lights up. Choose your next point.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you
by
mean
non-spider?
lights up?
Yeah. and
So
what do you-
the points A through H, not including the space that the spider are on, are your next starting points.
Oh. So we can't move that spider beyond where it is now. It's done.
Correct.
Okay. See, we were working on completely different assumptions.
it's okay. Apparently, we need to test the rules in order to learn the rules. Okay.
That's our fear of making a committed change.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when the
It's,
rules are vague, like it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's you're reluctant to make a move because you're like, I don't fully understand the rules. Screw the Fae, man.
But you have so many souls. There's so many chances.
I mean,
But,
yeah, but
wait. So you just said A through H is open
Correct. Aside from the one that the spider is on.
because the spider's on it.
Correct.
Go to B.
go from where to be?
Just
You said we can drop the spider on any point now, right?
Correct.
So start at B.
Oh, it's a new spider, new thread. So that's why you can't have them hit the same place twice, because there's a spider already there.
And you see the lines between B and G and B and E light up.
Oh, so we might actually be able to hit A again because it technically doesn't have a spider on it.
Okay. Now we need to think about this.
Yes.
This is where you've got to analyze how we're going to get things dropped.
Yeah.
If you like, now that you understand, I'll take a small token and we may reset the board.
What do you mean?
Small token. What token would you be interested in?
What token would you wish to give?
It has to be something valuable to us. There's only one thing I can think that Drow would hold above anything else here. I am going to offer a gold coin.
Ah,
Do you set it on the desk in front of the Fae?
I will set it on the desk because that is valuable to Drow. He values coin over most things in life.
It picks it up in its long, dainty fingers. This will do.
Excellent. So let me remove 1 gold from my inventory.
Love for
And
all
it has
like,
to be
Anthony,
my
sometimes I was
inventory,
like,
not group inventory,
Mm-hmm.
to make it valuable.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes. I mean, go ahead. We've been basically bogarting this puzzle because we thought we had it right.
I mean, this may be arbitrary and I may be reading too much into it, but it's easy to find a place to start, but hard to find a place to finish. Maybe there's something to the E and H there, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. We haven't.
Well, they're not capitalized in the riddle, so normally that stuff's italicized or something, but it could be a thing. That's
it's all
totally
italicized,
plausible.
really.
And that's totally plausible.
I mean, that might be a clue as to, like, you know, hey, this is your neighbor, you know.
but I do think if we have to choose where we want to end before we start our move.
Yeah.
Well, the other reason why it says finding a place to start is easy, but not one to end. If you start knocking lines out, you start closing off avenues to get to.
Unless it's that we can move the spiders when they're already on the board. So
If that's possible.
No, because we couldn't pick F to start a new line. We had to pick one of the other lines.
So once the
You're getting a new spider every time.
Yep. Yep.
That's why
Because
I think we need to determine where we want to end once we begin.
well, it's
the same either way. This is just a market, so convenience for us.
Look at that. That can work. Let me get some tape.
Are you going to tape something on your computer screen, Steven?
Sheet of paper over this puzzle so I can draw lines.
Oh
He's
god,
making
don't do
his-
that.
Making a conspiracy theory board.
Break
Drop
I
it.
out the thumbtacks.
Oh, your poor
I
monitor.
would expect no less from Steven.
What?
He might have some plexiglass. I don't know.
I don't know.
he's doing this so you can then take it down on the floor
Guys
and
that I
work on it.
suspect has a room with all this conspiracy theorist stuff and a
So in conclusion, the Fae. No.
yeah, and a like tinfoil hat.
You guys are just mad I came up with a dumb idea that's good.
No,
I mean, he does have a point there.
Well, you cannot use, like, because we've been using A as the example.
Yeah.
You could not start at A twice because
Right.
then you'd have no way of taking all. Well, no, I guess you can,
Now you can start at A twice. You
but
just
then you can't start at. You cannot start at F or D.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Also, going to point out that A and E are the only vowels.
Okay. Here, I figured it out. Okay.
Let's see what you got.
I think. So if we start at A, and then we go to F, right? Like we did. That would put a hard
Spider on F.
Yeah, we would have the spider on F, and that spider would stay there, and then the hard line would be from A to F. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we would have a line going from that spider to C, correct?
No, it doesn't move. So once the spider ends on F, that spider stays there. And then you get a
We
new
have to
spider
pick a
that
new
starts on a
point,
different point.
Start again.
So we need a new spider somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
So for
But we-
example, if you go A to F, then you could go E to H or D to A.
okay, here. Draho, you've copied your star down so you can work on it on the table, right?
Yes.
Okay. A to F, then A to D.
So if we go A to F and A to D.
Okay, cross out your F and D because we can't
Yep.
start from those lines, right?
Yep. That's done.
Okay. E to H, E to B.
So E to H, E to B, okay.
We
That
cross out
blocks
H
out
and B 'cause we
H
can't do
and
anything
B.
with those, right?
Yes.
So we go to G, and we go G to D and G to B. Now we're stacking spiders. But we're starting from fresh points.
The question is, can we stack the spider?
I don't know.
I don't think so
I was gonna
because
say, I
it,
thought once a point's been hit, it can't be hit again.
yeah, because the spider's on the point. The spiders
But we're
can't
but we're
overlap.
starting on A twice.
It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end. So you can't
Right.
end on the same point twice. You can start on the same point as many times as you want.
Okay, so before we finish those points off, well, no, because if we go from D to G, we can't do a G to B because G is
Correct.
going to have a spider on it.
Yep. So that's why I'm trying to see how often we can reuse the same point
You'd be able
before
to.
we block it off
So-
completely.
So we should end. Well, okay.
So the most you can ever start at a place is twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should we start at 1?
Straight lines. And that first one we did,
Was A to F.
What if we go backwards? Follow me here.
No,
if we
we
go
can't.
A to F, that
We
well,
can't.
no, wait. That's not what I mean. If we go A to F, that blocks off F.
right?
Now if we go, look at that correctly, D to A, that would block off A, but we'd still have D open, and that would complete A's sequence. So we
Right.
never have to touch A again. Thinking like that.
Okay. And-
So let's add that theory and see how this works out.
Okay.
Or
And
that
then
way.
so
A
we
to A.
have D open still, right?
Yes, because we'd go backwards. Instead of A to D, we'd go D to A, and that
Okay,
completes
so-
A.
So we have A and F crossed out, and we have D, G,
You'd end up D would be
C, and E open.
Available to go to G, then we go
G'd
B
be-
to G.
But G'd be closed because you'd use it for B, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
Well, D to G, and then, yep, you're right. See, this is why I was walking through it with you guys, because I was trying to figure out how it would work.
Yeah, I was sitting here walking through it, staring at the
Wait,
screen.
wait. Try starting at D.
Doesn't matter what one we start at because the line, geometrically, that thing is is like asymmetrical. So wherever you start, it doesn't matter which point you're going to fall. You got to figure out what the pattern is to do what we need to do.
Yeah, because if you just started the way it should be done, you would start at A and end on A, because that's just the way the star is designed. You just follow the straight lines.
But
so we can't do that, though.
Because when you get from A to F, that spider terminates on F and stays there.
Yep.
I don't think there's a way
Wait.
to do it without
No.
spiders.
A wouldn't have anything on it, so if we completed a full... No, never mind. I'm skipping on rules.
No, there's
Ignore
something,
me.
there's something to that, though. It should be where the spiders end up. So there's 2 paths to every letter, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So what we need to do is figure out what would result in some of the letters being clear when we want to go back to them, or when we want to
Reconnect.
start a new path. So, okay. So I think I'm onto something, just having a hard time articulating how to do it.
Best way to do that is what I've been doing. Mention a point and say go from here to here, end. Start at this point, go to here, end. And we can follow it on our personal maps if anyone's made a personal map like me.
He has on a notepad.
Sticky notepad.
Sticky notes. The best notes.
You got a whole room full of sticky notes, don't you, Steven?
I use sticky notes exclusively at work. I am very unorganized. My desk is just one big sticky note collection.
Not the type of room I was talking about, but sure. Steven, you do have to tell me that at one point in your life you were...
So if we start on A and go to F, then the last one we do has to be D to A.
Okay, why?
Because spider will be here,
Okay.
spider won't be there. So that means this was the first one we did, so this has to finish it.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I'm following.
Yes, but if we've already got a spider on D, we can't run one to A.
So then, okay, so then,
If there's a spider on the point, you cannot start from that point.
right, okay, so that would either need to be last or second to last.
I'll be nice on this one. There will be one open point when you're done.
Oh, okay.
See, I thought we had to use all points.
Yeah, feasibly you can't because it's an even amount.
And that's why we've been trying to do it that way, because it's physically impossible and didn't know we couldn't. We were trying to do the impossible thinking that we had to.
Yep.
But that's what we do best.
Well, I mean, in fairness, we didn't know that we were allowed to leave points blank, a point blank.
See, Kedro thought what he would do is delight in us not getting the puzzle right away. What he actually ended up doing is being bored.
Fairly accurate.
No, they're tough to figure out from the start, but once you understand the simplicity of the patterns, it's easy. Kind of like what you guys did with the first one. Like, you got halfway through and you're like, oh, it's this.
Alright, so we just need to leave D or A empty, I think.
Yeah, I'm doing, if you're giving suggestions, remember, I'm starting at point A for everything. So
Yeah, just
do everything as a point A as a reference for my dumb brain.
use point A as the starting point and then leave D empty by the end of it, is what I would recommend.
Okay, how would I, let me see if I can work through this. Write that down. No longer useful.
So
Jeez.
from A, go to F, and then
Oh, well, hang on.
Okay, no, I think I figured this out.
Yes, please.
I wonder if you
That's
and I
what
got
I
it at the same time. Yeah. All right.
So this is going to take some creative maneuvering with the spiders themselves. But I'm onto something.
All right.
And thank God I bought these sticky notes.
We have used so many sticky notes here today. That's a sticky note bonanza.
So after these two puzzles, who's ready to go to the Feywild?
As long as
I think Victor's ready to go to the
I am. I have someone there I want to kill. Massively.
We're all going to die.
If I do,
I'm more than happy to kill people in the Feywild. They're annoying me.
Will you help me kill my Night King? Because he needs to die. Like,
I don't know what a Night King is, but it sounds weak as hell. Let's fight it.
Okay, well then you can handle it by yourself.
yeah,
now.
yeah. If you want to handle my friend for me, go ahead. Just so you know, he'll turn you into a dog if he doesn't like you.
You can't turn me into a dog. I'm a Reiklandmere.
That means what exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
The new Esprit at the Kennel Show?
Yep. That would be the equivalent. Yeah. Next on the annual Thanksgiving Feywild Kennel Show, Arachnophobia. It's getting 10 points.
You said 1 point open, Kedro?
Correct.
Hold up, I think I just puzzled this.
Puzzled this. I don't think that's proper English.
If my sketchy notes are done correctly, which I will not promise. From what I understand, we can use a starting point more than once. We can't use a spot where a spider ends after they land there.
Correct.
We can leave one open, which was a huge factor in figuring this out if I've got it now. So, let me see if I can walk you guys through this thought, and then if it turns out to be wrong while I'm talking about it, I'll be told. So, theoretically, A to F is no longer usable. So scratch that. Now let's do G to D. D is no longer usable. Bam. Now C to H is no longer usable. G to B is no longer usable. Following that?
I'm following.
Yeah.
I so far I have your notes verified.
Okay, so what ones are left open? Make sure I'm looking at my notes correctly.
So say those moves again, just so I can count.
Are you following along? Make sure, because I'm.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, I'm gonna follow along step by step.
So what letters do not have a spider sitting on them?
You said A to F,
A to F,
G to D,
G to D,
G to B,
G to B,
C to H.
C to H.
So that would leave
GECA.
Yeah, open.
but we used both
Okay.
Gs.
Nope, that wouldn't work. Okay, that's why I needed you guys to help me through that, because I was having trouble with my lines here where I'm using the same
Kedro,
color for everything.
when we did that first one,
What's that?
when we did the first trial,
Mm-hmm.
and the spider got to F,
Yep.
we had to pick a new point, correct?
Correct.
So we can't reuse it once it gets to a point.
Correct.
Yeah, it ends at that point, but we can reuse the start points. So that's what I was working on this time, but it wouldn't have worked the way I did it. However, I think I was on the right track. I just did the wrong pattern.
No, because you moved from D to G, right? And then you moved the spider from G to B, right? The spider can't move.
No, you're right. Yeah, I meant to go from B to G. It would be there. And nope, that would end on the same spider. Okay, see, that's why I needed you guys to
Yeah.
walk me through this, because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying
because
to...
like that wouldn't make sense because we'd still
Okay.
end up with two spiders or a spider.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I that's why I was getting confused. It looked right on my notes, but I have a lot of script. I have like 4 colors I'm running right now, and they're getting confusing.
All of the highlighters.
Like, I'm sometimes gonna just work through.
You really
one
need
with-
to get some more colorful string for your conspiracy boards.
And just to complete the ensemble, a tinfoil hat. You've already got down the right amount of crazy.
So, one of the points will not be covered, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've got it. Draho, let me know how you follow this, okay?
Okay, give me 1 sec to get a new board drawn so I make sure it's clear because I was scribbling on this one.
Okay.
Let me get it made.
Can you do that? Yeah. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
That's jank as hell, but it should work. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. F to C.
F to C. F to. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got that. Makes sense.
Okay.
F to C. Bang.
E to B.
E to B. Okay.
A to F.
A to F. Okay.
E to H.
E to H. Okay.
I screwed this up.
You did the same thing I did in reverse.
Sorry. B to G.
So, well, hold up. Go back. Let me get the eraser out here.
Okay.
Wait, no. Are you starting all over?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just erase these points. I don't know why I've been redrawing the star when I could just... I'm using a pencil. I can just erase.
Erase your marks because you wrote it in pen, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was redrawing each time because
Okay.
I had it all in pen, and now I've switched to pencil.
I figured out how I screwed this up. It should be the one that I start with should not connect to anyone else. There we go.
Okay, give it to me again.
B
I'm
to
ready.
G.
So what were we doing? B to G.
Yes.
Okay, G is out.
Okay. F to C.
F to C. Got it.
A to F.
A to F. Got it.
D to A.
D to A.
E to B.
E to B.
E to H.
E to H. Unless I've totally screwed up my star, that looks...
I get to you get to all the points without doubling up on them.
That's true, and you leave D open.
That's what I'm seeing, so... Unless I screwed up my star. I don't want to be the guy to verify. That's a lot of pressure to put on one man.
Yeah, it leaves D open, and then you can go to D to G.
And then O. But that leaves the matter of C.
Thought we used... Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I was close though. I was close.
Yeah.
There's something to there's like a mathematical solution to this that we're bad at math.
You picked a party that's bad at math, Kadro.
It really is, and that's
I
the
mean-
problem. I want to remind everyone I cheated off the smart kid in math class and got a C minus. So,
To be fair, I probably would have been more help at this if I had known this was coming.
yeah,
I was
sure.
really just hoping to like throw some Eldritch Blasts and stuff today.
Because that's been the normal for how long now?
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just get a little high and throw some Eldritch Blasts. It'll be great.
I'm not
And now
gonna,
I gotta like puzzle and shit. And I'm like, I got nothing, guys.
I'm gonna be the normal stoner dude.
I'm not gonna rage mechanically, but I'm raging actually. How is this simple and I'm this dumb? Draho, check my notes.
Give me 1 sec to make sure I've got my new star correct. Because last time my star had an extra line that it shouldn't have, and I don't know why. Okay. That line should not exist. How do I keep adding that extra line? What am I?
Wait, no, because this still wouldn't do one path. Never mind.
Okay, I got the lines correct this time. How was I doing that? I'm somehow adding like an extra line down the middle when I'm drawing the diagram. C minus. Should have just given me fractions. I'm okay at fractions.
Don't feel bad. This took me a hot minute when I was 12.
So in other words, you're saying we're as incompetent as 12-year-old.
Now, we're as incompetent as him as a 12-year-old.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader? So once a point is the recipient of the point, then it is no longer usable, correct?
Yeah.
Yep, once you've ended at a point, that point is gone.
I feel like Masaki and Kaizen just sitting back and being like, well, to figure it out.
No, I've been sitting here trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they've been working silently alone. We've been group strategizing.
I've been crying over here.
Tyson's in the corner whittling.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
Actually, Masaki's probably just floating, taking a nap on the broom.
Okay. I think we're making this harder than it needs to be.
Of course we're making it harder than it needs to be.
It's us.
It's just a matter of how long until we stop.
Yeah, exactly. It's us. We always make it harder than it needs to be.
You can give up at any time.
But I like Fenrir. And Drow soul isn't the what's up for Auntie.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to lose their soul, even though we got him at him now.
Wait.
If you die, it has to be in glorious combat against our enemy, the Drow.
Okay. Ready to check my notes.
I am ready to check your notes.
Teacher, they're checking notes.
It's an open book quiz.
It really is. And the internet can't help for once.
Oh, it can, but you have to know what to search for.
You have to know the name of the puzzle.
Never mind, it doesn't fill in the whole... It doesn't... Okay. This is what's getting me, is it says... So, I might have it, but at the same time, it's like you have to fill in the space. And... Have I mentioned I hate spiders?
So you're not a Spider-Man fan?
No, I'm fans of Spider-Men, just not spiders.
What about spiders, man?
That is the creepiest shit ever.
What about man spiders?
Well, I mean, he's just a beast, but he's not like billions of spiders in the shape of a man who's convinced they're Peter Parker.
What about man bats?
No one likes bats.
You're so wrong about that.
The guy that calls himself Batman doesn't like bats.
Selena Kyle likes bats.
Oh yeah, she does.
Okay, I've got crap. See, every time I do it, I come to the same like 3 conclusions. So I'm feeling like I'm banging my head against a wall and I can't see the light.
Going for you.
I can't see the light.
That's just that Goddess is pissed off at you. So I think we've concluded that at least one line is not going to be completed, correct?
Seems that way. We know we can leave one point unsolved, but we gotta solve the rest, so.
But that line has to be solved.
I don't...
Pedro,
Maybe.
this person, this woman, or whatever in front of us is Fae, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We now know why you had a bad bet with the Fae King and got cursed. Because the first thing you do when you meet a Fae is start offering its souls.
Correction, I've learned not to offer it my soul off the bat.
Off the bat.
Well, you're learning. Maybe by the 5th time we encounter a Fae, we'll have some people left with souls.
Also, in the first off, I offered my soul to the Night King for one purpose, and that was to save my kingdom. He
All
betrayed.
right, I maybe got something. I don't know.
Let's see what you got.
All right, so
Show
we
me
go
what you got.
A to F,
Do what you got.
Bam.
Boom.
H to C,
H to C. Boom.
Boom.
B to G,
G. Boom.
Okay.
E to B,
EB. Boom.
Boom.
H to E,
Boom.
Ooh.
D to A.
I do believe that's
No, that would
Leave
leave.
stuff too open. H.
We
and
have
D.
H and D open. See, you did me. You got overconfident with your drawing of lines. So that would leave D and H open, and they cannot connect to each other. Do they?
No, they don't.
So we got to find a way to do this where the last one is still okay. So we need to leave a line open. So let's say H and C cannot be blocked off because we need to be able to move from one to the next. So next time we do this, you guys, you cannot block H or C with a spider, and try the pattern again and see what you can come up with.
Can't block off which?
H and C,
Okay.
because they have to be able to connect for our last move to leave one open and blank them off.
Okay.
So don't let those guys get used.
Pedro, I sent you something through Discord.
Try this again.
So H to C.
Yeah, H and C cannot be used when you finish your diagram. They have to stay open. Because our last line is going to go from one to the other.
Well, in that case, C to F should be the first move.
And I feel like, and because that's not working, maybe we have to use H or C twice to complete it
No,
without
no,
making it a...
no. This was a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just trying to expand on it because it's not working the way I'm doing it right now. Because we know we need to leave two. We always end up.
Oh, how the hell did I just do that?
Did you just do it and not follow through? I'm gonna shank you.
I'm gonna shank you. We're all gonna shank
At this
you.
point, I gotta see if I can replicate it.
Now is F. Now, if a point is eliminated, it's no longer a starting point.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, you can't start from a point that's.
That's got.
Oh,
a spider
no.
on
You
it.
can still start from a point even if you've used it as a starting point before, right?
As long as it
Correct.
doesn't have a spider on it.
Yeah, okay.
Once it's got the
That's what I
spider
thought.
on it, then it's locked.
Okay, that I misunderstood what he just asked, and I'm like, ooh, that's way worse than I thought.
Like, if you could start from a starting point with a spider on it, then this would be
it'd be
simplistic.
easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, I was right in the way I was assuming that. I thought I might be wrong. That's right. That's brilliant. Another eraser. I've burned this one up. Better figure out how you did that.
Nope. I fucked that one up.
Today's sponsor, headaches.
No. Excedrin.
It's accurate though.
Tylenol, extra strength. In the tiny bottle?
Get some purple in here. I'm using a whole pen section.
That is very accurate, Stewie.
What's he saying now?
Yeah.
I know it's
He
an
says
insult
this
to
ish
me.
is backwards. WTF.
Huh?
Ish just got real.
Stewie, why don't you go claim victory?
Someone check
Oh, really?
my notes.
Okay, here. I got it.
Someone, okay. Get,
I've
I
got-
think
no,
I just
I-
got
I
it
think I
too.
just got it too, but you go ahead.
Oh my god. Okay.
They all came upon
This will be hype if we're all right.
Okay. A to F.
Okay. A to F.
Got it.
Got
Yes.
D to A.
it. Okay.
He's giggling. He knows.
No.
G to D.
Yup. Okay.
B to G.
Yep.
Okay.
E to B.
Yep.
Yup.
H to E.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
C to H.
That
So-
looks right.
So I
That
did.
looks right.
I did a different letter combination, but
Same pattern.
That's the method. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's,
did
it's
it in
the
a different
pattern.
order, but
Yeah.
We all got it at the same time in a different order.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh.
7, 8,
Okay,
9,
so repeat what you just said officially.
10.
Where
A
are we
to
starting?
F.
Dear
I've
Lord.
been starting at A because it's the first one.
Okay,
It's
going
the
to F.
alphabet. A to F.
So 16 sticky notes later.
Next,
Then D to A.
D up to A. Okay,
Then G to D.
not that. Not that.
I was about to say, you can't start the new
We
puzzle
roll for
before we
initiative?
finish this.
I didn't do anything.
All right. What was the third?
G to D,
G to D. Okay.
B to G,
B to G. Roger.
E to B,
E to B. Yep.
H to E,
H to E. Mm-hmm.
See
and then C to H.
We all got it
C
at the same
to
time.
H. So Stewie was
That's
correct.
kinda funny.
This ish
I
is backwards.
basically went the side. Yeah, I
15
basically
of these.
went the opposite way and wound up with H instead of C.
15 sticky notes later.
So
finally got.
15
I only have
rookie numbers.
7 sketch outs, but I spend a good 30 minutes, give or take, tracing it with my fingers on the screen.
Do we have time for the third puzzle?
I don't think so.
We do not because we have like 8 minutes.
Plus,
So,
we could probably the last puzzle in 8 minutes, which would
the
be
face
hilarious.
squints at you, curses, but no matter. One last game to claim your fame, but first, what prize do you require?
I think I
You
just-
don't get to talk anymore.
No, I was gonna say, what can I claim that is worth can help us with the big guy?
I think can we ask for something to weaken
Yeah,
Idriz
that's
when
what
we
I was
find
gonna
We're
him?
talking amongst ourselves, not to the Fae directly.
Yeah. This is
This is
group-
the huddle. This is
Yeah,
the
this
huddle.
is the huddle.
This is the huddle, yeah.
No decisions are being made on prizes after we want a direct path to Idris without a group conversation.
So before we suggest anything, start with the words hypothetically.
So
I
something
think that's
to
the best
weaken
thing to happen.
him might work. Or anyone got any other ideas that might come to mind? We still got a third one if you got something that'll play
We
off
could
that.
ask for a shit ton of
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, we could ask for a shit ton of like adamantium or some sort of metal.
Who's going to carry it all?
We're running
That's a
out of
good point. We're running out of bag of
As I
holding room.
recall, Idris had very exceptional attacks
Yes,
He
he had
has
that
a
whip
gnarly
that eats
whip.
your soul.
that eats your soul and entangles you. So, something that would provide you protection from out of your body, or at the very least from being entangled by it, might be a boon. Particularly
Something to
those who
nullify
are of
his weapon.
lesser
Yeah.
constitution.
Let.
We
I
could
asked-
hypothetically also ask for something to assist with raising his daughter and breaking the cycle of sacrifice to Lolth.
That is also an exceptional idea.
Very good thought. See, this is why we grew Puddle.
Let's ask for the second one. That seems like a more viable option.
Well, hold
Because
on.
then we don't have to fight him at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've got her.
I feel
bones
like
with
that's
us, don't we?
cheating.
It is.
And you're against this? Why?
Wait. We have her bones, don't we?
I have her bones, yes.
Yeah.
And we
but
have
see-
extra amulets, don't we?
Yes.
So why don't we just bring her back now? Hypothetically.
We should probably ask her if that's what she wants first.
Hypothetically.
Also, he does have the Dragon Stone. It's not just breaking the curse we got to worry about. We can break the curse, but he'll still have the Dragon
I
Stone.
have a feeling he'll give
Yeah,
us the Dragon Stone if we break
Really?
the
He
curse.
seems like a bit of a dick.
I think that's because it's how he's at now. He's not like you.
Yeah.
I don't. Draho doesn't have the capability of understanding this. Never loved anyone that much.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
understand that love is a thing unless it's for
Um,
money.
you see Ark kind of fiddle with something in his belt pouch and then put it back.
So maybe, how about this? Because we got two. We do a way to bring the daughter back and end the cycle, and then, or to bring the daughter back to end the cycle, and then bring her to us so we can take her directly to him, since we're getting a direct path to him.
Why would we
if
need to bring
she
her
gets
to us? We already have her.
resurrected at her remains, she would be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'd have to go find the remains.
I
I'm saying
have the
them.
remains.
We have.
Oh, you can't. Wow, creepers.
I've been carrying them around in a bag of holding for like I don't
Grandpa,
know.
Grandpa, how many fingers am I holding up?
Steven, it's no creepier than us carrying around Strahd's mom's bone.
Oh, you know what? I got
Different
something.
party, different tone.
Anyway,
Got something that might, like story-wise, it'd be great. I could justify it for Drawho, but I doubt the party would want to use our third grant on it.
Well, hypothetically, what is it?
Yeah.
Bring back Drawho's arch nemesis who died in the other room.
That might be worth it for comedic value.
I mean, she
Hypothetically.
did help us out.
She did.
Well, you guys would probably feel a sense of owing her for the help, and Drawho feels that he didn't get to properly end their squabble.
So they're both his daughter, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Why don't we just ask to bring his daughters back?
Do we know their names? Wait.
We know her name is Natasha Ilias, or Ili,
Do,
whatever.
do
his
we
last
know
name.
the other one's names? 'Cause
Eloise.
we know that
Eloise.
there were other daughters.
So
that
it's
have
Eloise.
We
That-
want-
that's-
Yeah, amazingly
that's true.
enough, spiders are fecund creatures.
I would say we would name the daughters.
Yeah. So Eloise and Natasha.
Yeah,
I would
it was
name
Natasha
them.
was the good one, right?
Yes.
'Cause I thought I had the note for it.
That would be my vote, is to resurrect those two.
Let's do
Yeah.
that then.
Because we owe Natasha, and Eloise would break the cycle. And again, I could justify it in Drawho's mind as he's bringing his nemesis back so they can finish their squabble honorably.
Okay, get a room.
Get her.
So
Excuse
so
me.
is everybody cool with that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, that's what I ask for from the Fae.
Granted.
Excellent.
Roll for initiative.
And with that, she waves her hand, and you find yourselves transported to a giant marble platform. Creatures stand pointed to fight on either side. The battle looks like it would be fairly matched. One of you must take the place of the position of the king. The rest of you may swap out for other pieces as you please.
Crap.
We are playing
chess.
Wizard's Chess.
Here
I think we
play
know
for
Drawho's
lives.
going to be king.
Nope.
You may use any of your powers as you see fit, but must move and
Hopefully
capture
not
per the
bad.
normal rules. Once you take your places, you have first move. Feel free to confer with each other as much as you might need.
Okay.
I think Ark should take the place of the queen.
Because I can move anywhere I want to.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I'm fine with being something in the back row. So
I mean, come on, Kaisen's got to be a knight.
Yeah.
Come on.
make Masaki a bishop.
I'll yeah. I'll take a rook.
Okay.
Masaki needs to be a bishop.
I'll take a rook.
Go up a few ranks.
Yes, I mean we need to cover all the major movers. So
Yeah. I'll take a rook.
But
so-
then if we get a pawn across, is there going to be two of me?
Yeah, possibly.
It says it's activated. Why is that being...
okay, well
Selection.
this is good.
I was gonna say, did we get a new map?
He's
Yeah.
working on it.
So we can use. Oh, okay.
It is chessboard.
Is that lightning or water?
Water.
Okay. Lightning.
Lightning water.
I mean, it would
Knowing
conduct.
Pedro.
So you say it's within our rules, but otherwise we're free to use our abilities. However,
Correct.
and are they squares 5 feet across or
5 feet. Each square.
I wonder what the rules say about a piece taking up 4 spaces.
But with that, we'll go ahead and pause, and we'll come back to this next game. As always, thank you all for coming to play,
Well,
and
when
for
it
those
says-
coming to watch.
Live with
Okay, so